Hello Pokemon fans, this is ProPokeNoob back today to bring you another battle, but this battle I will not be narrating. Instead, I have decided to rant, because after a long and tiring week, what better way to release stress than to just yell about something? No, I'm not gonna yell, but I do want to talk about something in particular that I have been seeing in a few podcasts and uploads lately. But first, just as a final reminder, I'm going to leave a link to last Friday's battle, which talks about Friends Week and, just a triple weather battle if you guys are interested. After this week, I will just be leaving links, and I will not be mentioning them. They'll just be at the top in the beginning, just kind of save time and breath. So, I'm probably going to leave that open for another week. Hopefully we can get more people and try and fill it up. It's going pretty well so far. And I appreciate all of your responses so far, and I hope we can bring more people in and make Friends Week even bigger. But for now, I'm going to be bringing you an unrated mixed match battle. It's basically RU or NU to OU. So I'm just going to start the battle. And what I'm going to be talking about is actually a response to an upload that I saw on Wednesday from the Flaming Spade. And I do respect the Flaming Spade. He's a very excellent battler, and he's a very excellent speaker, and he does have very good opinions. And the upload that I'm referring to in particular deals with this whole thing about the originality versus the standard. Now, you guys see my teams, right? You see how I play. You know that I'm a very big believer in Pokemon not just being all about standard, right? Having said that, now standard is pretty nice actually at times, because you do want to have that time when you want tiers and you just don't want to bring random stuff, and there are just certain sets that just work, and you can't really get around them, those types of Pokemon. Think about a Ledian, okay? Think about Ledian. How many, you can do a few different sets with it, but after that, it's not like you can get really crazy with it, and if you do, it just gets to the point where it's weak. And I know I completely agree with the Flaming Spade when he said that it's gotten to the point where people have become too original. Now, little weird coming from me because I come up with really strange sets at times, but the thing about when I build a team and I build my own sets is I try to make it work, first of all, just as a team, and I also try to make it work as a set itself. So the Pokemon is self-sufficient. I don't have to rely on all this other stuff per se on a team. And overall, just, it actually is a viable set. Not necessarily the strongest set, but it does have its uses, and I do like how it works. So, when I see something like Stone Edge Rock Gem or something like that, that's, it's pushing it, I think, right? And we understand, I just heard that we're having tier changes in April or something like that, but I think it's come to the point where we've kind of gone beyond. By the way, this thing doesn't have sheer force. I forget what else it gets, but I think it has hustle? I don't remember. But I think people are kind of getting bored. That's my opinion. I think people are getting a little fed up with the tiers. For example, Deoxys Defense has been causing a lot of issues in UU lately. I mean, OU, it's all about the rain stall. UU, it's all about the hazards, spike stacking, and, it's come to the point where if you don't play the standard, it's a little difficult to actually have leeway or any chance of survival in these tiers, right? Now, of course, you have anti-teams, which is something that I like to build with other people. I like to build by myself, because, if you're going to fight a meta team, you might as well fight it so that it's anti-meta, and then an anti-meta comes after that. But, that's Pokemon. But, I kind of wanted to rant a little bit. This is feeling better already. But, I kind of wanted to talk about just the definition, really, of original and the definition of standard. Standard is just, following tiers, synchronicity of the teams. That's what it means to me. It might not necessarily mean that exactly in the terms for you or for other people, but to me, that's what it sounds like. And there's nothing wrong with it. I do say, I hate on it a little bit. Sometimes I wish it wasn't so meta and so just perfect as a team. Like, you know how you just see, like, Volturn is perfect and, well, almost perfect, but I mean, when you see something like Volturn, let's just use that as an example. You know, you need someone who can counter the Volturn, which essentially is blocking on the Volt Switch side. And then if you find that, you need someone on your team with the Volturn to counter that. And it just goes back and forth like that. Like, to me, that's not my style. I don't like playing Pokemon like that, where you're just looking at what are the meta moves, and then countering the meta moves, and then just back and forth, back and forth. But it also begs the question, you know, how strategic do you like your game? And Standard does make your game very strategic. You have to... It comes down to the player. It doesn't come down to the team that you use. It comes down to the player that uses it. You know, I could just borrow, like, Wild Chase's team, the weatherless one, and I could just play it, but it doesn't necessarily mean I know how it works, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'll beat another Standard team. So, you don't necessarily need originality to play Standard, or to just, you know, have all these prediction wars. There is prediction just by using Standard. And, the closest thing that I can say that I've gotten to with just using fully Standard sets is probably my very first Little Cup team. That was probably the first time that I've ever used just a full team made of Standard sets. But, and even though a lot of people don't really respect the Little Cup too much, it's a tier nonetheless. It has Standard sets set up by Smogon, and therefore it is logical in my argument right now. So, that's my definition of Standard, just the way that I see it. Now, Originality is, you know, kind of just altering sets. You know, you want to see, okay, Gengar. Let's think about Gengar. I have a Scarf Gengar, there's Sub-Disable Gengar, there's Sub-Split Gengar, there's All-Out Attack Gengar, I've seen Sub-Punch Gengar. You know, there's all those different variations, and Originality basically comes down to just, you know, maybe changing something up that you see that might work better for your team, right? But again, it has to work for the team. You can't just come up with a set and expect it to, you know, become popular like the ever so scarring, what was it, Dark Gem Payback or something like that. Like, it was built around an Umbreon that had Workup and Curse. Now, good idea, except when you think about it in practical terms, it's very difficult to use, and it's a little too gimmicky, right? It's a little too far out there, especially when people say that, oh, it will change the metagame, like this should be the new meta. I wish some of my sets would become the new meta too, but, you know, the reality is some things just can't be beaten, right? It just comes down to what set you like for your team, and what set essentially ends up working out for you. By the way, this is going to be a Deoxys Defense sweep after this, so if you'd like to listen to me and watch Deoxys Defense pull off this feat, be my guest. But yeah, if you haven't gotten bored of me by now, essentially my take on Originality is, you know what, guys, build a set that you like, and, you know, go for something that you think will work for your team, will work and maybe give people ideas as to what to use. For example, I don't think I've shown the Psycho Shift set that I've come up with. I'm going to try and put a battle out there showing my Psycho Shift set on a couple of different Pokemon, but, you know, if you're going to make it, make sure it works. Like, don't just say, it's completely original and, you know, people should use this. You can't really force people to use your sets, first of all. Like, I put these out here and I'm like, you know what, this works for me, I like how it works. If I lose with it, you know what, that's the way I play, I don't mind, carry on. But it's when people kind of just push it. Like, I'm not trying to attack anyone here, and I'm, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm just cranky at 3:30 in the morning after a long week of essays, but I thought it would be good to kind of jump in and join in as a gimmicky player myself, and just kind of give my input in give my opinion on just what I think about this whole thing with the changing tiers and with these crazy sets that I've been seeing lately, which, you know, are cool because, I mean, it's better than just playing the same old, but you know, it would be so much more effective, and it would be so much cooler, actually, if these new sets worked. And, you know, there is that dividing line where it becomes too original and doesn't work, and then not original enough, and then you're just following a Smogon set, or you're following a Smogon EVs, right? I still remember, I think it was Elo, who had like a Hitmonchan, wow, Hitmonchan, that had a certain build of EVs that could take a lot of hits, and it actually worked really well, and, you know, it used the standard set, but it had EVs that worked, right? And that's kind of like what I aim to do, you know. You look for that type of stuff. But, you know, you can listen to me if you like. If you don't want to listen to me, that's just my take on this whole situation. And the match is over. That was an excellent match. Gary Baldi, I forgot to name your person in the beginning, but that's okay. But just as a kind of like a closing thought, you know, yeah, we're gonna have to wait until April just to see what changes actually get made. Like, recently, Durant has been pushed to BL2, which, you know, I don't really agree with, but to each his own. Also, a lot of usage there's some blatant usage from the stats lately that just, you know, make certain Pokemon look like they're going to move up or move down. But, you know, it's going to be left up to the committee, it's going to be left up to the public to deal with it, and, you know, it might change the game a little bit. But whether the game changes or not, just remember, there's standard, there's original, and then there's ridiculous. That's the way I think of it. There's standard, original, then ridiculous. Because you can only go so far. But that's just me kind of jumping in, throwing my voice out there with the Pokemon community. If you guys would like to have a discussion about it on Skype, or if you'd like to just discuss it in the comments section, guys, by all means, leave your opinion. I'm going to leave this as a question. What do you guys think about these original sets that have been popping up a lot? And I'm talking like, you know, you can discuss what your opinions on standard are these days. You can discuss what your opinions on original sets are. You can leave original sets if you want people to critique them on the battle. That's fine with me. I don't care what happens on my channel, as long as there's nothing vulgar or anything that's going to be insulting. But, you know, I'm open to talking about this. I kind of hold a different voice at times from other people, but, you know, that's just me, and maybe I can't articulate myself well enough. But nonetheless, that's what I wanted to bring you today. I probably will surprise you with a battle on the weekend if I can make it to it. If I can't, you know, I didn't promise anything. So, thank you so much for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Hope you all enjoyed this nice little unrated battle and this nice little rant. And until then, I will see you probably sometime next week. And again, I'd like everyone, if they would like to get involved in this and just give me your opinions and give me your insights. Until then, have an excellent weekend. Peace.